Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. I am your teacher, Sini Namer. Dear students, in these challenging times, we are all navigating through uncertainty for ourselves, for our loved ones, and for our community. I hope you and your family are in good health and safe. Let's start today's lecture. This is my lecture number 5 for grade trio, and we will start the second chapter of history. And the code of your history is 2059. So let's start with chapter number 2, which is what were the causes and consequences of the decline of the Mughal Empire. On page number 12, there's a topic, the Mughal Empire before Aurangzeb. Mostly the chapter is about the reign of Aurangzeb, so we will study about all the reign of Aurangzeb. But here, before starting the topic of Aurangzeb Alamgir, I will explain briefly all the 5 Mughal emperors before the Aurangzeb Alamgir. Zahiruddin Muhammad Babur was the founder of the Mughal Empire and was the first emperor of the Mughal dynasty in the Indian subcontinent. He was a descendant of Timur and Genghis Khan through his father and mother respectively. Babur was a Muslim who ruled in Turkestan and was keen to expand his territory. In 1526, he defeated the Emperor of Delhi in the Battle of Panipat. He then defeated other Indian chiefs and established himself as unchallenged ruler of the northern India. The second Mughal emperor was Humayun, and his full name was Nasiruddin Muhammad Humayun, and he was the eldest son of Babur. He succeeded his father and became the second emperor of the Mughal Empire. He ruled India for nearly a decade. He was succeeded in 1530. He succeeded his father in 1530, and he was defeated by the Khan chief whose name was Sher Shah Suri, and Sher Shah Suri took control of many of his territories. Then Humayun also had to face opposition from his own brothers, and it was not until 1555 that he restored his control in the lands that Babur had won. But his success was short lived. Just 1 year later, he was slipped on his own robes. Robes is the long gown the Mughal emperors were wearing. So he was slipped on his own robes on the steps of his library and fell to his death. And the third Mughal emperor was Akbar, and he is popularly known as Akbar the Great. And his complete name was Jalaluddin Muhammad Akbar, and who reigned from 1556 to 1605. Akbar succeeded his father Humayun under a regent, Bahram Khan, who helped the young emperor expand and consolidate Mughal domains in India. Although he was only 13 years old when he succeeded his father, but he further extended the Mughal empire and he was greatly influenced by the Sufi beliefs and in 1581 announced his Deen-e-Ilahi, a new religion containing elements of both Islam and Hinduism. This religion did not take root and died out after Akbar's death. Akbar ruled for almost 50 years, and at his death in 1605, the Mughal Empire was strong and the foundations had been laid for other emperors to continue to expand the lands under Mughal control. Nuruddin Muhammad Salim, known by his imperial name Jahangir, was the fourth Mughal emperor. He ruled from 1605 until his death in 1627. His imperial name means conqueror of the world. The expansion continued under his reign, though it was Jahangir who signed a commercial treaty with the British in 1615. He did not realize the fact that the British would eventually overthrow the Mughals. Shahabuddin Muhammad Khurram, better known by his regnal name Shah Jahan, was the fifth Mughal emperor who reigned from 1628 to 1658. He is widely considered one of the greatest Mughal emperors. Under his reign, the Mughal Empire reached the peak of its glory. He was responsible for building the famous Taj Mahal in memory of his favorite wife Mumtaz Mahal. Shah Jahan also tried to extend the empire in campaigns against the Persians and in modern day Uzbekistan, but his wars were costly and ineffective. He did, however, defeat the Portuguese after they tried to forcefully convert Muslim girls to Christianity. The sixth Mughal emperor was the Aurangzeb, Aurangzeb Alamgir. His full name was Muhammad bin Muhammad Aurangzeb. He was the son of Shah Jahan. On page number 13, you can see the reign of Aurangzeb, and Aurangzeb seizes control. So he was the one who actually seized control from his father. His father was alive at the time. The Mughal emperor or the Mughal empire was a system of dynasty. And a dynasty is a sequence of rulers from the same family, usually in the context of a feudal or monarchical system, but sometimes also appearing in elective republics. When a father dies, his son will take over the throne. But here, the situation was difficult, or we can say it was totally uh, unpredictable. In 1657, Shah Jahan fell seriously ill. This presented a serious problem for the empire as he had four sons. He was the third son of Shah Jahan and Mumtaz Mahal. By the time he turned 16, Shah Jahan gave him the post of the governor of a Deccan. Aurangzeb moved to Khirki in the Deccan region, which he renamed Aurangabad after him. In 1637, he married Rabia Durrani, and it was around this time that Shah Jahan began to favor his eldest son, Dara Shikoh. Aurangzeb soon earned his father's disfavor and was asked to step down from his post. However, after mending ties with his father, he was made governor of Gujarat, where he did well and was rewarded. By 1647, he was made governor of the present-day Afghanistan and Tajikistan, replacing his ineffective brother Murad Bakhsh. These areas were constantly attacked by rebels, and Aurangzeb managed to quell them or suppress them with his military skills. When he was appointed as the governor of Multan and Sindh, he engaged in a long battle in an effort to capture Kandahar from the Safavid army. Unfortunately, Aurangzeb failed to do so and once again earned his father's anger. Aurangzeb was once again appointed the governor of Deccan. He set out to expand the Mughal Empire but was stopped by his father and eldest brother every time. Soon after Shah Jahan fell ill, all his sons began to fight over the throne. Aurangzeb defeated his elder brother Dara's army, Dara's the Dara Shikoh army, and took his father as a prisoner. Dara Shikoh was condemned to death by his own brother. He defeated his other brothers too and soon after took over the throne at Agra. Aurangzeb went on to rule for last 49 years. Although Aurangzeb's predecessors were tolerant towards all religions, Aurangzeb enforced very strict Islamic law called the Fatwa-e-Alamgiri. He banned music, art, and dance in his courts. He also destroyed images in art and architecture as Muslim law dictates. He destroyed many Hindu temples, prohibited religious meets, and enforced unfair taxes on non Muslims. which Akbar had removed. He also banned the practice of sati and forced many to convert to Islam. Aurangzeb now had the freedom of expanding his kingdom with no one in his way. He extended the empire both in the northwest and northeast. His armies consisted of some 500,000 camp followers, 50,000 camels, and 30,000 war elephants. In a quick span of time, he invaded Punjab and Afghanistan and also tried to suppress territories owned by the Marathas in the west, who were led by Shivaji. But these constant military campaigns drained his treasury. As a result, the peasants of the kingdom had to pay heavy taxes. The Maratha leader Shivaji was originally defeated in 1665 and brought as a prisoner to Agra. Because of his restrictive rule, Aurangzeb had many enemies, especially the Sikhs, when Aurangzeb insisted that all Kashmir Brahmins must convert to Islam. The hapless Kashmiris, we can say the unfortunate Kashmiris, turned to the Sikh Guru Tegh Bahadur for help. Aurangzeb refused to listen to his plea and insisted that he too must convert to Islam. When Tegh Bahadur refused, Aurangzeb had him executed, which triggered a rebellion from the Sikh community. Aurangzeb's army continued to weaken. It was at this time that his new enemies, the Marathas, attacked him. For 27 years, the two armies fought many battles, and only after Shivaji's death in 1680 did Aurangzeb and his army get some respite. Respite means a short period of rest or relief from something difficult or unpleasant. This relief was short lived as the Rajputs of Jodhpur and Mewar joined forces and rebelled against Aurangzeb. They declared themselves independent of their rule. Aurangzeb sent his son to quell or we can say suppress their rebellions, only to learn later that his son would deceive him. Akbar, his son, declared himself king and soon fled to the Deccan, where he allied with Shivaji's son, Sambhaji. Aurangzeb later sent his son into exile in Persia, from where he never returned. Aurangzeb then later captured Sambhaji and killed him. The decline of the empire had already begun. Aurangzeb's political power had weakened because of the time he spent on military matters. His governors and generals became powerful and many declared themselves independent rulers. His harsh rule alienated the Hindus and the peasants. Alienated means like Hindus and peasants were isolated and they were separated from the Muslims who lived in utter poverty. Aurangzeb read his last in 1707. The empire was no longer an effective force, though it officially came to an end in 1857 when Emperor Bahadur Shah Zafar was put on trial. It was at this time that the Mughal Empire was completely wiped out. The Sikh community established their empire in Punjab after Aurangzeb's death. Charat Singh established his stronghold in Gujranwala in 1763. Maharaja Ranjit Singh was the most powerful of all Sikh rulers and ruled for over 40 years. He was also known as the Lion of Punjab and died due to paralysis in 1839. After his death, the Sikh empire was divided into small principalities. So we are done with the reign of Aurangzeb, how he seized the control from his father, the impact of his policies on the stability of the Mughal Empire, and then his reforms. Now, after his death, how the effective was his successors. There's a topic on page number 15, the effectiveness of Aurangzeb's successors. So, when Aurangzeb died, the empire of the Mughals was the largest in India. Yet, within about 50 years of his death, the the Mughal Empire disintegrated. Aurangzeb's death was followed by a war of succession among his three sons. It ended in a victory of the eldest brother, Prince Muazzam. As you know, dear students, that Aurangzeb had become emperor by defeating his rivals in battle. He seized control from his father and then from his brothers. So he was determined to avoid such kind of a war after his death. So he divided his empire between his three sons. But he did not succeed. Fighting broke out between them, and eventually Prince Muazzam, the eldest one, became the emperor. He survived only a few years, and then his four sons, means the sons of Prince Muazzam, then his four sons fought over the throne. But the victor, Jahandar Shah, was murdered within a year. In the 10 years after Aurangzeb's death, 12 different people claimed to be emperor at one time. The stable Mughal empire had become weak and divided. Muhammad Shah became emperor in 1719 and ruled for almost 30 years, but he faced so much opposition that was really the last Mughal leader who could claim to be the emperor. On page number 16, the new topic is invading forces, and it means foreign attackers. During the 18th century, the Mughals found it increasingly difficult to cope with foreign attackers. One of the invading forces were the Persians. The Emperor Nadir Shah, the Shah of Persia, invaded northern India, eventually attacking Delhi in March 1739. His army had easily defeated the Mughals at the Battle of Karnal and would eventually capture the Mughal capital in the aftermath of the battle. Nadir Shah did not intend to make himself emperor, but only to win as much booty as possible. Booty is like the stolen goods, or in Urdu we can say the male ganimat. When he left after 2 months, he took huge amounts of gold and jewels. He also took the prestige of the Mughals. Now people saw how weak the empire had become. Another invading force was the Marathas. It was another problem for the Mughals. They formed a Hindu empire in southern India and were a constant source of difficulty for the Mughals. Aurangzeb spent over 25 years trying to defeat the Marathas' forces, and after his death, they continued to take land from the Mughals. In 1737, they defeated the Mughal army and plundered Delhi. By the middle of the 18th century, the Marathas had replaced the Mughals as the most powerful force in India. And the third invading force were the Afghans. They came from Afghanistan in 1747. An Afghan general called Ahmad Shah Durrani attacked Kabul, Peshawar, and Lahore. By 1749, he had gained control of the Punjab, and by 1756, he added Kashmir and the Multan to his possessions. The weakness of the Mughal Empire can be seen by the fact that the Mughals were unable to stop Marathas or Afghan expansion, and it was actually Ahmad Shah Durrani who defeated the Marathas' expansion in 1761 at the Battle of Panipat. This leadership of various Afghan tribes rested mainly on the ability to provide booty for the clan, and Ahmad Shah proved remarkably successful in providing both booty and occupation for his followers. So that's all for today's lecture. Here is an assignment. Why the Mughal Empire declined following the reign of Aurangzeb, and this is for 7 marks.
And you know that the why question, which is always for 7 marks, in why question we have to give 3 reasons in the answer. They're asking about the reason, so you have to give 3 reasons in 3 different paras. Particularly here, I'm asking about the reign of Aurangzeb. So why the empire led to decline, why it became weak following his reign, his rulership. So you have to give me 3 reasons in your answer. Thank you so much for watching this video. Um, if you have any problems, any queries, drop your queries or questions in the comment box. I must answer you inshallah. And we'll meet you again in another lecture. Bye.